What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 43 of Greels Reels. I'm your host, Robert Greeley, and today we have University of Ottawa forward Jacob Hanlon, Hanno, talking to us about hockey, life, education, sustainable environment stuff. It is a blast, a great podcast, and we're just going to jump right into it. So here we go. Hanno, how's it going, bud? It's good to see you.
Hey Rob, it's going well. How about you?
And I can't complain. It's been a minute. How's things in Ottawa? You're in Ottawa, right?
Sorry.
You're in Ottawa, yeah?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, it's they're probably pretty much the same as when you left.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day is pretty similar during the pandemic, but no, Ottawa's good. It's I'm glad I'm still here and with guys on the team. We're still practicing. We're still in the gym, and doing my master's right now. So it's pretty busy, which is nice.
Yeah, keeps you, in the sense of a same routine, right? So you can kind of go about your day in a way.
Exactly, especially just with COVID going on and everything. Some days I even forget it's a thing because of just one thing after another with school and workouts and everything. So it's been good.
Yeah, I think, man, the first thing I want to talk to you, honestly, is just like Newfoundland, like your connection with Newfoundland, because I even see I see the picture on the left. I don't think that's it's giving me Newfoundland vibes. I'm not sure if that's a Newfoundland river or a lake or whatnot, but yeah, you got some family from here, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll adjust the picture first. I'm actually not sure where it's from. I wanted something big for my wall and back in first year, so I got that, and I don't even remember if it said where the picture's taken, but yeah, no, it could be Newfoundland. It's beautiful enough for sure. But yeah, my grandpa on my dad's side's from St. John's, and so always kind of had that Newfoundland connection, and I'd never been until a few years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. My parents and I did a week-long kind of hiking trip in Grossmore National Park, and I mean, been to tropical places. I've been to cool cities for hockey, and I have to say that was my favorite vacation. It was just really nice seeing, the East Coast, and we stayed in some small towns when we were out there, and really got that East Coast hospitality, and just being out in nature and hiking and just seeing the ocean and the Gulf of St. Lawrence and climbing some mountains. It was pretty awesome. And then I was fortunate enough the year after we organized the trip for to bring my grandpa back to St. John's to see some old family and relatives, and he's 89 now, so it was pretty special to be able to get him on a plane with us and go and spend a few days out there. And I ended up meeting about I want to say 40 or 50 relatives that I didn't even know I had, and just just the nicest people out there. So it was two really special trips out there.
Yeah, that's pretty classic. You just start running into everybody that you're related to. How'd you handle the Gross Morn Summit?
It wasn't easy. It was pretty much just climbing rocks for a couple hours, but I actually, once we got to the summit, I saw my first moose that I've ever seen in real life.
Oh no way!
Yeah, so that was pretty awesome. Kind of icing on the cake right there. It was a clear day. Surprisingly, no fog and no rain. So I had some stunning views to see from there as well.
The island likes you.
Yeah.
No fog, no rain. Yeah, that's a rarity for sure. But no, man, it sounds like a great trip. And now, just kind of going into the leeway of hockey. When things kind of started for you, playing minor hockey, a lot of it was spent in the GTHL, which is like a infamous league with just a incredible database of like talent that has come through there. Looking back on those minor hockey days now, what's some things that you take away from playing your time there?
I mean, it was nice to be able to play close to home. Now that I've been away from home for so many years, I definitely value the fact that I was able to have my parents come to most of my games growing up, and especially now being in Ottawa and even with some time I spent in BC, um, definitely was a little harder for them to get out to games. So being close to home was nice for sure, and it just kind of made my minor hockey experience pretty great. And then yeah, like the talent in that league uh, like Max Domi, Darnell Nurse, different guys that I played against back then who they're in the NHL now. It's it's pretty cool to just kind of see how those guys have progressed. It was definitely, yeah, some tough years in that league playing against those guys and some of these powerhouse teams like the Marlies. But I think it's helped kind of shape the player I am today. So it was, yeah, definitely a good minor hockey place to play, right?
Are those typically two of the guys that come to mind when you're like, wow, like I played against those guys on a regular, Darnell and Max?
Yeah, those two guys are up there for sure. Especially because back then they were so good, but there were other guys in the league who were just as good back then. But those guys, they kept developing, and they're playing at the highest level possible right now. So it's always interesting to see how some guys don't make it, and then just how other guys who just kept pushing and persevering and working on their craft, and now that's where they are.
Hmm. And you said, those years helped shape the player who you are today. How would you describe, your play style today? Because I know in terms of the handle playbook, you're valuable in a lot of different assets.
Yeah, definitely growing up, I was on had some good winning years, but had some losing years as well. And I think that just kind of allowed me to become like a bit of a two-way center and work on the little things as well. I remember I had some years where I felt like we were stuck in our own zone for full games at a time. And so I think being able to just have that defensive kind of responsibility and be able to go out for important face-offs and penalty kills and stuff like that, while also being able to jump in on the rush and create some offense as well with my speed and things like that.
Hmm. And you've also now, like, kind of since I don't know what you were like back in the day, but since you've been at the University of Ottawa, you've really taken a role of, doing a bunch of stuff off the ice, right? Like your performance in gym has been great. You handle a lot of things with Coach Pat and on the academic side, making sure guys know resources available and things of that nature. Was that something that you were always drawn to, or have you picked that up more so since you've been at uOttawa?
um I guess I got to give a bit of credit to my dad for that kind of thing, because kind of the biggest lesson I got from him in terms of sports, and hockey specifically, is to make things about more than just hockey. So whether it's getting involved with the community or being a good role model for my peers, um, I kind of always feel like it's important to just not just do hockey. Don't just be a hockey player, but kind of be a complete individual as well. So the academic role kind of just happened on its own. We had an academic advisor for our team, Afton. She was on the women's rugby team back in my first year, and she recommended that I be our team's academic advisor moving forward from there. So I've been that since second year, and now I'm on my fifth year. So it's been interesting at times. It's been fun. It's always rewarding helping the guys, just be time oriented and be on top of their studies, and it's definitely rewarding to see guys who maybe have to put in a little extra work to get good grades achieve those grades. And then even things like in the gym as well and stuff. Maybe part of it's just because I like working out, but I don't know. I consider myself a hard worker in whatever I do. So whether it's the books or the gym or on the ice, I like to try to lead by example with my work ethic.
And so I guess, well, first off, too, hey, congratulations, academic all Canadian, for another year. But
Thank you.
so with that, like, do you put that added pressure on yourself where it's you kind of got to lead by example, and I can't really be the guy's academic advisor if I'm not putting in the grades myself.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. Yeah, I want to be able to kind of walk the walk as well, right? So I know that I'm capable of doing it, and I think it just kind of comes down to prioritizing your time, especially as student athletes. You know, you're on road trips, you gotta find time on the bus to do homework and at the hotels and everything. So I think that's something that I've really been able to develop with myself over these last 4 years or 4.5 years now. Is just kind of being able to have that balance where finding success on the gym, but also in the classroom as well.
Hmm. And I guess too, so outside of those, making sure that every minute counts, and you're studying on the bus, and you're studying at away rinks or home rinks if it's needed to, with the hours before the game and stuff like that. What are some other strategies that you've kind of implemented where you've seen the results? Because I mean, after you can kind of get into the program that you're studying, because that one at uOttawa is a really interesting program.
Yeah. So um, I think at the end of the day, it all kind of just comes down to to having your priorities. And for me, I'm a big kind of time blocker. So like when I wake up in the morning, I'll kind of plan out my day and say like if I think I'm gonna need 5 hours to work on a project here, then I'll say 12 to 5. That's time for the project, and that is mixing that in with practices and workouts and trying to have some social time too. I think just at the end of the day, writing things out and scheduling them has really allowed for all that to happen. And I think I owe my success and getting into this master's program to that, because it's definitely not easy as a student athlete. I mean, we put so much time in, and even when we've done all of our workouts and practices and games, I mean, there's still, there's open gym time, there's time to stretch and get your nutrition in. So it's kind of a never ending list of things to do.
Hmm. And so, what's the official title on the master's program again?
So it's a Master's of Science in Environmental Sustainability. And what's pretty cool about it is it's kind of a multi-dimensional program. So for example, my courses this semester, I'm taking an environmental law class, environmental economics, environmental policy, as well as the science classes as well. So what's really cool is we have a diverse cohort of students who come from all sorts of different backgrounds, like economics, science, business. So it's been pretty special being able to jump into this program with all these other students who kind of share the same passion for sustainability.
Yeah, no, because it's you. I'm like getting sidetracked in my thoughts because you said cohort, and I've never heard that word so much until I started being like studying my master's. I don't know if you're the same way.
Yeah, same for us. So we just have a program of 30 people. So they call us the 2020 cohort, and we have all the same classes together and pretty
Mhm.
much just the exact same schedule for all 30 of us.
Yeah, no, same. It's like we're like the MDM 8.0 cohort or something like that. It's funny, but yeah, because so with that program, you started something with like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the Our Sustainable Future. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that wasn't even to do with the program actually.
Yeah.
I was, the summer, it was kind of the first time that I wasn't taking any courses over the summer since I started university. So I was just working during the day and working out and everything, and had some extra free time. And I kind of just, I was thinking about, after talking to my parents and peers about just different things I learned in my undergrad in terms of sustainability. A lot of people, or sorry, a lot of the things that I learned in my program in terms of the environment and sustainability, they weren't kind of as common knowledge as I thought they would be. Even talking to my family about some of these things and different facts that they didn't know. So I just kind of was thinking about, I have the time, it's COVID, I'm at home a lot. If there was something I could do to kind of, just get this information out there. And I just thought the name kind of came after, but I just thought if I could kind of get some sort of social media platform with Instagram and just kind of start getting some knowledge out there. And I ended up doing in the form of surveys for the most part, as well as Instagram posts, but just kind of educational surveys. Just kind of, did you know this and did you know that? And had a lot of positive reviews and a lot of good feedback. So I ended up even doing a couple little giveaways as well for just some sustainable products, like reusable containers and things like that. And yeah, no, it's been a learning experience for me, and it's been pretty fun to just kind of see the reach it's had. Because even for one of my surveys, I think I had somebody from the Philippines actually did
Oh
the
wow.
survey. People in the States, some family out in Newfoundland, people I know in the West Coast as well. So it got a little bigger than I actually expected. And it's just really cool to see that just from these surveys and this Instagram page, that helping kind of share some knowledge on sustainability with people.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reach with social media is incredible, right? But what would you say the main goals of Our Sustainable Future is? Like, what would you really love to see accomplished with it?
So actually, I created a mission statement to go along with that. And at the start, it was to use my knowledge of environmental sustainability to influence 1,000 people to live more sustainable lives, and make more environmentally conscious choices. And just from the amount of reach I had from the first few surveys, I decided to up that number from 1,000 to 3,000. So I'm not there yet. I'm not even that close yet, but I think it's important to have big goals, and forces you to really take big steps and put the time in, because I think if I left it at 1,000, then I might get a little lazy with it and think, oh, I'm already at 500. Maybe I can take a step back, but I think putting it at 3,000 people, that's pushing me. And obviously, it's been busy trying to balance out with school, and it's definitely taken a back seat. But especially with Christmas break coming up, I'm looking forward to kind of getting more into that and getting more posts and surveys going. And once I hit that 3,000, I'm not sure what my next step's going to be. But I think that would be pretty incredible if I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're gonna hit it in no time. And then, I've actually, taken in a lot of the stuff that you posted too, and I've, tried to make a few changes and stuff like that. Kind of, whether it be the fact that I use an espresso coffee machine, so I make sure that like I'm saving the aluminum pods and like going through their recycle program that they have.
Yep.
It's pretty interesting because they send like they didn't send me any bags though, so I'm like waiting for them to be shipped. It's like they have like a massive back order, so I literally on my kitchen counter right now, it's just like it's kind of gross, but it's literally just a bowl filled with like used pods that I'm just waiting to recycle. And I've also I've tried to incorporate like one like vegan or vegetarian meal. Typically kind of defaults to the morning breakfast is like kind of like strictly fruit now, but from seeing what you've seen and other things that I've read and stuff like that, because you've also done challenges too where you did like 30 days vegan, correct, or something like that.
I think I did a week.
Okay. Oh.
So not quite 30, but no, it was,
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to kind of see how difficult it would be. And I mean, over that week, I was pretty much doing the same thing that I would do normally, where I'm kind of meal prepping and making enough meals for a few different dinners kind of thing. It was just about substituting things out and finding other ways of getting my protein in. Like I got some recipes for homemade veggie burritos. And when you're putting beans and chickpeas and things like that in there, you end up getting enough protein from that. So yeah, I did that challenge for 1 week, and it was surprisingly easier than I thought. Um,
Nice.
in the long term, I think it would be difficult in terms of finding variety. I don't mind if I'm eating the same meal or same couple meals for a week, but if it was over, a few months or a year, it would be tougher. But I definitely think it's something that's doable.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I know that's all because there's been a few football guys too who have gone like vegan in season and things of that nature, and they've always there's different incidents where they find it the hardest. So sometimes it's like when they're to a restaurant like with their parents and stuff like that, and it's like a steakhouse, so there's barely any options for it. Understandably, I guess you seeing as where you're at, but no, it's super interesting. And but the other thing is too is like you did it for a week, but you also had like on social like a bunch of people attempting and following it along with you.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I pretty much mentioned that if anyone wanted to get involved, even if for just a day or 2 days, they don't have to do the full week, but just give it a try and see how it goes. And I think I had about 12 or 13 people who did it for at least a couple days. And it was kind of fun just seeing what the recipes were and checking in with them to see how it was going and if they felt any different, or if they were having any challenges with it. So that's kind of where it's really rewarding kind of doing this project, is just that, you get people involved and kind of gets people out of their comfort zone or helps them achieve things that they didn't really know about. So yeah, that was definitely a pretty cool opportunity there.
Well, it's amazing what you can do with like reaching collective agreements between people and just trying something out, right? Like essentially for you to go vegan for that 7-day period, that's one person, 7 days, 21 meals essentially. Now you put it on Facebook and you got so and so doing it for 2 days, so that's an extra 6 meals, right? And then it adds up, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So is this something that you kind of want to do like career wise, like after you finish up hockey and your degree?
Yeah, I definitely want to work in the sustainability kind of sector. I don't have like a dream job or anything. I just definitely think it would be pretty cool to be able to to go to work every day and know that I'm making a positive impact on the planet, and working with people who are like-minded and share the same passion. So um, yeah, it'll be an interesting next few years because I'm getting some cool connections through my program and through some alumni with the hockey team as well. One of our alumni actually got me set up with my summer job last summer with an environmental company, so that was pretty great. So it's definitely what I want to do. I just don't have an exact kind of role yet that I'm looking at.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, you still got time to map it all out, right? And the connectivity of community is always huge, right? Like we've mentioned before, and being a part of the alumni, interacting with especially hockey alumni and things like that, guys who want to see you succeed as much as possible too, right? And you mentioned actually in your cohort as well, because even outside, because you've been doing lots of it, right? So not only do you have like this hockey community, but I remember too you got involved with Enactus for a little bit as well.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Actually, one of my friends from back home, Drew Sterling, who he was also at uOttawa here. He kind of just reached out and asked if I wanted to get involved, and so for the one school year there, I was helping out in a limited role, just due to the busyness of the year. But it was nice to kind of just experience that side of things. I was helping out with their poly project where they would melt down plastics and create new products out of them. So that was really cool. Just being able to help in any way I could. And yeah, again, like that's just like another kind of loose connection that I had from back home that ended up allowing me to be in on a pretty cool opportunity.
hmm Well, I mean, that's the thing too. I spent, the better part of like 4 or 5 years with like Enactus. I When I was at the College of North Atlantic, I did it for a year, and there as well. And that's kind of like the goal is to create businesses that essentially impact social or environmental changes, right? With a lot of things, so you can find yourself doing a wide variety of things. Like, I mean, I definitely recommend honestly for like university students if they're looking, they got a couple extra hours in a week that they want to try and fill, look and see if their school has an access program, because a lot of schools across the country do, some pretty incredible things. Even Newfoundland, Mun's Enactus team is phenomenal. They've blown it out of the water some years.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. And I love that it's an international thing, right?
hmm
And even if I don't know, like for me, I obviously wasn't going to any of the competitions or anything, but just following along on Facebook and Instagram and just kind of seeing the impact that not just Enactus at uOttawa has, but Enactus as an overall community, with new ideas and small businesses. It's pretty cool.
I think it was like because you can watch a lot of the presentations on Facebook and YouTube as well, right? And the stuff that I think it was either like Enactus Germ. Well, I know both of them. I can't remember exactly what the projects were, or which one went with what, but I know a couple years ago, Enactus Germany and like Enactus India. I completely forgetting what they did, but whatever they did, it blew my mind. I was like, holy smokes, this is absolutely groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, it's even yeah the stuff they're doing here at uOttawa. I was pretty
Yeah.
impressed, especially as someone who's interested in sustainability and social causes and things like that. It's just great to see that these, I guess, clubs or organizations are involved with that.
hmm Yeah, and it's for the most part too. It's very heavily student led, right?
Yeah,
It's fellow students and stuff like that. So you get to network and meet new friends as well too. But I mean, hey, let's kind of we got down this rabbit hole. Let's bring it back to hockey and chat a little bit more hockey. I mean, I get we'll go. I guess we kind of skipped over the BCHL days. So if you wanted to chat a little bit about that and some memories that you've had playing in those leagues, because I know again a lot of good guys have come out of there. That league has definitely taken off as being, really solid reputation, especially in terms of recent NHL draft picks, right? Being alumni from that league as well.
yeah. I mean, I guess I'll just take a quick step back before that. Before I went out to BC, I played a year junior B in Brampton, about half an hour from where I was living, and that was kind of my first taste of junior hockey.
Okay,
As
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
16-year-old, I was, playing against 20, 21-year-olds, and it was a huge learning experience, and my time in Brampton was awesome. And I think I wouldn't have been able to go out to BC without having that 1 year of junior B hockey. But yeah, once I got to BC, it was it was pretty mind blowing, just from all aspects. The hockey was great. It was my first time being away from home as well, which was nice. Living with billet families out there, living with teammates as well, and then just the whole experience, the travel, the community events we did. A lot of the teams out there are heavily involved with the community, so that was nice to do, and that kind of, my first kind of experience just doing things like around Christmas time, doing toy drives and going to Christmas parades as a team, and just a lot of things to give back to the community, because a lot of those teams out there are kind of in small towns and cities that are very, very well supported by the community. So that was really special. And then, yeah, just living in BC was really cool. Taking road trips for away games, and we're driving through mountains or taking 3-hour-long ferry rides from Vancouver Island over to the mainland, seeing places like Kelowna. And then, yeah, just even one of the coolest parts was on our off days, we would always try to find something, weather permitting, outdoors to do. So we would go swimming in the rivers, cliff jumping, hiking. And then my coolest memory from being in BC was, it just happened to fall on my birthday, but it was February 21st, and some of the volunteers within our team had organized for us to go up, take a bus up to Fino and go surfing for the day.
Oh, wow.
So it was mid-February, and I was in a wetsuit surfing in the Pacific Ocean, and it was, my first time surfing, first time, especially in the winter as well, where I'd typically be hibernating inside back here. It was really cool. It was like 12 degrees outside or something, and the water was pretty nice. So it was, that was a really cool experience.
No, that's incredible. Man, BC, it's such a nice spot. Like, the whole West Coast is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I got so many good memories of just being out there, whether it be in Vancouver with Enactus actually, or my uncle lives in Abbotsford, so we went and seen him, and it's literally it's picture perfect. Like, it's just like that thing on your wall there. Like, any second you could frame it. So I guess, when exactly did the recruitment process kind of start for you, where it was, okay, let's look at some post-secondary institutions and figure out what's going to be the best fit for me moving forward?
Yeah, so I had the goal to play hockey in the States, to play D1 hockey, and that didn't really pan out. So it was I think it was around September of my last year junior. I was playing in Kingston actually for my last year, and Pat, our coach here at uOttawa, he had started his recruiting process, and I was definitely more inclined to looking at Canadian universities than like a Division III university in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat actually approached me pretty early in the year. And I mean, it made sense. They were starting the program from scratch, and Pat had to recruit about 25 guys. So no, he approached me in, I think, September or October at our showcase, and just kept things light. Gave me his information. Just said he'll keep in touch, and yeah, he just kind of checked in with me throughout the season. And out of the Canadian teams the Canadian universities I was talking to, I really liked Ottawa. I liked Pat as a person. I could tell at the time he was going to be a good coach. And my dad's actually from Ottawa as well, so it's kind of been a second home for me. I have my grandparents here and some family here. So Ottawa, it was definitely one of my top choices. And as the season went on, I think I ended up committing in March. And at that point, I was fully set to come to Ottawa. I was happy with my choice, having my grandparents and aunt and uncle here. And I just really like Pat as a coach. So a lot of different things, the opportunity coming to a new team, definitely a little more opportunity there than going somewhere where you kind of have to sit in the pecking order with veterans and things like that. So that's kind of how it all went down, and couldn't be happier with my choice.
You kind of got the red carpet rolled out for you too. I remember seeing the photos of the jersey and the signing day with the nice backdrop. Not everybody gets that, eh?
No, yeah, I remember our kind of we just had an event kind of to kick off the season, and I remember Pajot was there, and we just kind of rented out a big area kind of downtown, and a lot of family and friends and alumni, and we were taking some pictures with the jerseys because they had unveiled the jerseys, and I just happened to kind of be standing nearby, and someone said, "You want to throw a jersey on?" I said, "Sure." And yeah, I think it was Demang and myself, and maybe a couple other guys who got some nice pictures there.
So was that the official day that you signed, or?
No, so that would have
Okay.
been, I think that would have been more in September around training camp in our first year at Ottawa.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, because I signed back in March, and then yeah, we didn't do the actual kind of event until everyone was in town and the season.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Man, that photo throws me off. And that looks like some of the stuff that we've done for like football, right? With the guys and their table and the jerseys and it's always funny though because the jerseys are like so skin tight for football that they typically spend 20 minutes of their signing day trying to squeeze into them. Yeah, no, okay, that's what I thought it was, but yeah, okay. So that was the whole event with Pajot and the jerseys, and I mean, you can talk better, but I'm trying to piece together my memory. But you were actually there.
Yeah, I think it was I think we rented out Heart and Crown downtown,
Okay,
and yeah, it was just we had a good turnout of alumni and family and friends, and I think it was Pajot who kind of unveiled the jersey for us.
nice.
Um, and yeah, I want to say it was in September back in 2016,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was kind of nice because that was kind of the official rebirth of the program.
Mm. How does that, having a guy like Pajot show up and unveil the jersey for your university hockey program, does that add any fire into the whole thing? Like, are you like, oh wow, like this is like really cool kind of thing, or like, does it add I guess, a layer of legitimacy as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you when you see something like that, you know you're coming to a professional program it has support from professional people, and um, I mean, I've heard that Peugeot is really good with community work and the off ice side of hockey, and I've just heard that he's a really good person like that. So knowing that a person with his kind of character was at our event and helping with the rebirth of our team, and unveiling the jersey, that made it pretty special. And it just made me feel like I was coming to just a program that was based on good character.
Yeah. No, and I mean, so since you've kind of been there, now it's to that point, talking about going into a situation with no veterans. Now you are the veteran. How's that been? How can you? I guess it was probably what, a snap of the fingers, and now you're here, kind of thing. Can you believe it?
Yeah, time's definitely flown over these last 4.5 years. And it really sunk in kind of in training camp this year when we had a handful of returning guys. With the program starting up 4 years ago, we had I want to say 18 guys graduate after
Mhm.
last season. So it was definitely it's definitely different having a younger team and just having so many new faces. But it was also kind of motivating to just continue being who I am and being a role model for these new guys and showing them what kind of character we expect here and the work ethic we expect. So it's been different for sure than any other year, but it's been a growth opportunity for me for sure.
Who's the guy you missed the least? You're like, oh, thank God, he's
I missed
finally
the least.
knowing.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
want to expose anyone.
No, well, hey, listen, I'll cut this part out. We'll say it's Drover, and we'll give Drover a hard time.
Okay. You want me to just
No,
start right now?
no, I'm kidding. I'm not. I don't do much with the editing, but we always gotta pick on Drover on this podcast for the most part. I think I've seen him in a few weeks anyway, right? So I gotta have some ammunition to poke fun at him, right? Being like, hey man, I was chatting with Hanno. Yeah, thank God he's got
Well, you know
he's
what's
gonna
funny
get.
is that, I mean, even as you asked me that question, like my real answer is like there's not a single guy. We had
Yeah,
such a great group of guys. I've never been on a team with more solid character people than this team. And yeah, honestly, now I think about it, Drover would be one of the guys you would pick just because we were such a tight knit group, and Drover was one of the kind of funnier guys on the team. He's kind of more into the practical jokes and stuff like that. So he's a guy that you could say that to because you just know he would just put a smile on his face.
Yeah, no, he's loving it. But yeah, no, honestly, that statement really hits the nail on the head, right? Like I was fortunate enough to kind of get a back row seat at a lot of like the last kind of intertwine of I mean, I really, was fortunate enough to kind of see the last few months, once football ended and kind of the early months of 2020 when I started like hopping on the bus. But yeah, you could see it from, the few games that I would host and things like that too, right? Like you guys were a great group, right? And it's also, I guess, unfortunate too, how everything ended with like COVID finally shutting down the national tournament when you finally get there. Are you I guess looking for vengeance in a way? Hopefully, kind of get the another shot at it.
I mean, that was kind of the idea coming into this year.
Mhm.
I knew I was coming back anyway for my 5th year, but um, yeah, it was pretty tough when we got the news that nationals was canceled the night before our first game there. But then coming into the season and after having a summer to kind of think about it, it was like I had extra motivation for this year. We had so many guys from last year's team who wouldn't be back, who never got that chance to play at nationals, which was something we'd been working really hard for the last 4 years. So coming into this year, I knew that I was going to do absolutely everything I could to make sure that we get to nationals and we can get something to show for all the work we put into this program over the last 4 years. And then finding out that this season was canceled this year, that was it was another hit. It was pretty tough to hear that as well, because with my master's program, I'll be out of here in August, and
Oh yeah, that's right, eh?
yeah, so I won't even be playing my 5th year, and so yeah, it's just kind of just leaves that feeling of that we never really got to have that final shot.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I'm sorry to hit. That's bad math on me, man. I swear I can't count. I'm like, yeah, you'll get another shot at it, like it's coming back next year. But yeah, no, you mentioned that right before. It's the intensive like 12 months, eh? Like it's a packed master's program, so you won't get a second year to, hopefully be back, right?
Yeah, so I mean, even though I don't lose a year of eligibility from this year because of COVID, I mean, like I'll be honest, I did look to see if there were any other programs or things like that would
Hmm.
be useful for me to do, but just nothing really stood out. So yeah, that's just kind of the way the cards have fallen for now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, who knows? You never know what could happen, right? And I mean, do you see any future hockey aspirations where maybe it's a pro deal overseas or something along those lines?
Yeah, right now, obviously, my short-term goal is to complete my master's, but I'm still training every day with the team, and we're on the ice and in the gym, and I'm looking towards next year. I'd love to go out and play in the UK or in France or in a league like that. I know we had quite a few guys who committed overseas before COVID, and kind of during the start of COVID to go play out there this year, and several of them, their leagues ended up shutting down before they could even start, which was definitely tough. But there are a few guys out there in France still right now who are playing, and their leagues have kind of been on and off, taking some breaks here and there when COVID spikes. But I know they're having a great time out there, and we've played hockey our whole lives, and being able to reward ourselves for all these years of hard work, and even if it's just a year or 2 or 3 of pro, I think that would be it'd be pretty special, and especially if I could reconnect with some of the guys from the last few years at uOttawa, and maybe get on a team with some of them out there. That would be the dream for next year. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to for now.
Honestly, if that happens, I got the first class ticket booked, and I'm ringside with the camera 100% to document that reunion.
That's awesome. That'd
I'll
be yeah. I'd love that.
I'll figure it out somehow how to fit it in the budget. Whether if it's a first class ticket or I got to swim across the water, I'll figure it out to get there.
We'll try to put it in my contract somehow.
Hey, yeah, you know what? That's all I need, right? I need a couple of athletes to just start putting me into their negotiating terms, being like, listen, if you're signing me, you got to hire this guy as a team photographer for at least 3 games or something like that. if you don't mind, Hannah, put that in your contract negotiation list, please. Okay.
You know what? I'll keep it in mind.
No, I'm teasing, but honestly, we did get a little glimpse of that European style of pro hockey, right? When we went back over in Germany back last August, right? And I'm a huge fan of it. That atmosphere was absolutely incredible. I haven't seen like I was fortunate enough to I've seen like massive games here in Newfoundland when it comes to like the herder with like packed stands and stuff like that. I've been to NHL games. I've seen up close and personal like the OHL finals. I have never seen a crowd as enthusiastic as those preseason games that we played in Germany.
Yeah, those were some of the best crowds I played in front of in my life. I still have one of the videos you took. I remember once you posted it, I put it on my phone, and it's probably one of the earliest things in my camera roll on my new phone right now.
Okay, no way.
And it's the video of I forget which game it was, but the crowd was just chanting, and you're kind of panning around the rink, and people they're clapping and they're hitting I don't know if they're hitting pots and pans or a cowbell or something, and they're just chanting while we're playing, and it was yeah, those games they were eye opening to see what European hockey was like, but they were just really fun to play in overall.
Mhm. Do you think if you get that pro contract, you'd have to make a lot of adjustments into your game if you were to go over there and play that on a regular basis?
I wouldn't say a lot of adjustments, but I think I would have to do all the things that I already do well at an even higher level.
Okay.
Um, it's obviously a step up from university hockey out there, but I think that the things that I do well are valued by coaches, and those are the things that will get me out there. It's just comes down to doing them at a higher level.
Hmm. Yeah, because it's amazing to see like once the rink gets bigger and the play style is a little bit different. It's almost like the open ended body checks aren't as common in that style of play, right? So you see a lot more shifty stick work and things of that nature as well.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I think the only time we played on Olympic ice other than Germany was when we went to Guelph for
Hmm.
the OUA finals. And yeah, you definitely need you need your cardio for that. And yeah, it's a different style of play. It's not as tight checking, and definitely the skill side of things and the skating comes into play a bit more. So I personally love the big ice. So I wouldn't be complaining if I end up out in Europe and have to play on that every game.
Yeah, I think that fits your style of play too more, right? Like the more open ice for you, the better, right?
Yeah, I one of my favorite things is getting the puck in our end and weaving through guys and trying to get down to the other end. So it's yeah, the Olympic ice definitely helps for that.
Hmm. No, man, like Olympic ice, there's something about it too. Like I find every time I walk into a rink with like Olympic ice, there's almost like a little bit of a wow, like a breathtaking moment. I have no idea why. I maybe it's because it's a little bit larger, stuff like that. But I distinctly remember one year, it was grade 12. So in the Buren part of Newfoundland, like you go down to Grand Bank, you continue past Grand Bank, and you hit Fortune, hop on a ferry, and it's like a 15-minute ferry ride, and you're in on like a little island, Saint Pierre et Miquelon, and it's France. So
Okay,
it's
yeah,
France. You need your passport and stuff like that. You've heard of it. I think I've
heard of it.
might have
Yeah,
mentioned. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like so everything there is it's France, it's Europe. Like they got that European ice surface over there and stuff like that, and it's crazy because they play in like Newfoundland provincials, right? They'll like the St. Pierre team if they have enough, uh, depending on the age group, will sometimes get slotted in like a B, C, or D division and come over and play us, or uh, vice versa. They might host a tournament one year. I can't remember the last time that they did that, but I was over there for like a school trip, not hockey related whatsoever, and it was just such like their stadium. I think it was the first time I ever really saw like Olympic ice like that, like up close and personal, and it was so nice. Like it was just so well kept over there too, and like massive. It really was breathtaking.
I think it's the closest thing you can get to playing out on a lake, right? In terms of size. So
Yeah,
that's part of it.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, Hannah, this has been everything and more of what I wanted to chat about. I think we covered some great things and stuff like that. But this is part of the show, where I just hand it over to you. So it's your show. You can talk about whatever you want. Life lesson, another childhood story. I mean, anything at all. I know you got lots going on, but yeah, it's 100% your show. Take it away.
Yeah, you didn't tell me about this part before the show. You're putting me on the spot here. No, honestly, just talking to you about the past 4 years at Ottawa and everything. I just want to do a shout out to all the guys who I've played with here at uOttawa for the last 4 years. It's been the best 4 years of my life. It's been the closest group of guys that I've ever been able to play with, and I know that every single guy from this team is going to go on to do some pretty great things with their life. And we have so many different personalities and so many different interests within the group. I just think it'll be really interesting to see where everybody ends up in 10, 20 years from now. And just, yeah, I'm very grateful to have been able to come to uOttawa and to experience 4 years with this group of guys.
No, 100%. Let's we gotta assign somebody right now to the barbecue for the 10-year reunion.
I'm sure we will definitely get together for reunions and alumni events and things like that. So I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah, no, I mean it's exciting, right? And honestly, it's a great point to leave it off on, is just how incredible and wonderful pretty much the accomplishments that you guys were able to do over the past 4 years, right? So anyways, man, hey, thanks so much for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it.
No worries. I appreciate you having me on. This was fun.
All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And if you did, hey, make sure to share it with a friend. Leave us a tweet, a review. I don't know, do whatever you want to do. But hey, I really do hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a great rest of your week. And in the meantime, stay best kind.